All right. Now that you've all been sort of napping in your post-lunch bliss, we're going to kind of shake things up a bit. You've been listening to a lot of information, and at this point, you're probably like, oh my God, stop fire hosing us with information. So it's your turn. We want to know what you want to know, okay? So you can ask us anything. All of us up here have been here for at least a year. Everybody, I think, up here has been here for 2 or 3, or I've been here since 2009, so count that. So anyways, before we get going, I'm going to give you a second to kind of think about questions you might have, and it can be anything from academic to really not academic at all. I want to wish Colin a happy birthday. It's his birthday today. We got him a cupcake. Let's do a quick round of happy birthday. All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Colin. Happy birthday to you. Woo! All right, happy birthday, Colin. Okay, so what we're going to do, hopefully you have some questions in your mind. Melanie's going to run around with the mic and hold it up for you to ask questions, and then we'll just kind of answer. So put your hand up if you've got one. Literally anything. Yes. Right back here. Keep your hand up so she can come find you.
I don't know if our mics are on.
Can we get these mics on? Okay, good.
Can you guys hear us?
Oh, they are.
So as an icebreaker to make this really easy, Colin, how old are you?
Is this one on? Can you hear me? Older than 30, younger than 32.
Right. There's 2 over there and then 1 in the back.
What's the best place for a graduate student to get coffee?
That's debatable.
Everybody tell them your favorite coffee place.
So it kind of depends, I guess. Like there's like 3 right downtown that are pretty good that if you're doing work, we kind of rotate around. I like Thomas Hammer the best myself.
I really like Moscow, so I always go over there to One World.
Hammer time.
More local, so daily grind for me.
The only time I need coffee is when I'm late to school and I'm really sleepy, so the bookie.
I am a Cafe Merle person if I want to hang out, because they also serve beer there, and then a daily grind person when I want to get work done.
Another good place is Roost. It's really, really small, but they have good coffee. So, all downtown. All right. Next question. One behind you there, Melanie.
Hello, yes. So my question is there any discount for grad student spouses subscribing to the gym?
Yes, there is. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know there's a discount. You remember, Davi?
So they have, all you have to do is say that there is a spouse, and the discount is, I think it's about $325, which is not bad for the entire year. And they just need to get a Cougar card. So just go to the rec center and they'll help you out there.
Woo, we got one up front here and one kind of in the back side over there.
Making you run, Melanie.
Thank you. I'm from West Africa, Ghana. And coming to WSU, one of my cultural shock I'm going through is the food. Can anyone help me if I can connect to African food somewhere?
So I'm not necessarily for sure on African food, but my husband's Turkish, and so we do get a lot of Turkish food, a lot of food from the Middle East, things like that. And so there's a halal food market right next to IGA, so you can find, I know, some Asian foods, things like that. But African in Pullman, I'm not personally familiar. Maybe some other people are.
There is, I don't know of really any African food here. There's a Ethiopian restaurant in Spokane. If you ever go up there, about an hour and a half away. It is really good. Yeah, it's called Queen of Sheba.
Hi, I was wondering if there's a freshers fair where all the clubs and societies and sports clubs kind of show what's on offer and what things you can join, like extracurricular.
I think there is at some point. Does anybody remember when that is?
Yeah, so so the club is actually, all the tabling is on the first floor in this building the first few weeks of school. So typically during the lunch hours between 12 and 2, you can kind of find out. And you'll be getting emails from us too that will talk about all the club fare.
You can also get on Student Involvement's website, and they have a full list of all registered student organizations or clubs, so you can kind of see what is in existence.
Just to add to that too, if as far as the sports stuff goes, the rec center always has, sign up. It's always pretty obvious, when people are, like the row team, for instance. I just saw they're going to be holding tryouts and stuff like that, so they're always like standing outside of the rec center, and there's always like intramural signups and stuff. So the rec center is good for any like sports related stuff as well.
Next question.
What is your favorite place on campus?
Like to study, or what are we doing there? Just in general?
Okay, I'll go first because I know mine. It's Martin Stadium on game day, and if anybody in here is big football fans from like out of state, like make sure you get to a game here because it's pretty awesome.
There's discounted athletic tickets available if you look on the GPSA website. There's $10 a pop for graduate and professional students to go to the games, which is a pretty sweet deal.
I really like hanging out in the Leidy Student Services building. So it's where all the administrators work and a lot of like student financial aid and everything is, but it's like bright and sunny, and there's a little coffee cart there, and you never see any of your students or like any of your friends for the most part. And so if you really want to kind of escape, that's a good place to go. This time of year, it's fun to go up on top of the library, which is literally like right there. It's kind of up out of the noise that happens the first week of classes. So yeah, I don't know. Any of you have other favorite places?
Make sure you guys check Ferdinand's ice cream. It's awesome. You need to try it out. It's like the base ice cream that you're going to find around here. And the cheese too. Cheese is pretty good.
Is there free parking by the rec center, or do you need a permit?
Permit.
Okay, so there are a few spaces that like along the baseball field and the outside, like after 5 o'clock, you can park there, and then the yellow lot that's next to Beasley, you can also park there after 5 o'clock. I know that's kind of inconvenient because that's also when everybody goes, but if you're looking for free, you kind of just got to take what you can get.
Yeah, it's from 7 to 5. You need a parking permit on the street out front of the rec center. But I'm a before 7 a.m. gym person, so I just go at 6. From 6 to 7, you can park right out front for free.
Also, if you already have a parking pass, that you can park in the rec parking lot with your parking pass. Like, say you have a yellow 4 already, and then it also works in the rec parking lot. And keep an eye out for those signs. In some areas, like gray and crimson parking lots, you can't park there unless you have a pass at all times. And it'll say.
Just real quick, since we're kind of on the topic of the rec center, there's obviously the really big rec center out there, but then a lot of classes are also held in Smith Gym and the physical education building, which are literally just right that way. They're the really old looking gym buildings, so there's a lot of stuff offered there. And then there's a new recreation center by the tower dorms, sort of on the south side of campus. It's called the Down Under Recreation Center. It's like a little mini version of the rec, and it's usually not as busy. So just FYI. Next question.
Any of you have any experience with trivia nights?
Oh, there's so many.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, then what are the best?
This is something I know about. Okay, so Tuesdays, that's today, at Rico's, there's a pretty good trivia night. So there's kind of, two main, okay, I can go way into this. So there are kind of two main ways they do trivia here. So there's one that's like ask a question, answer immediately, and that's kind of my favorite. And there's another version that I think like Etsy Bravo does this. Yeah, Wednesday nights where it's like they'll ask a bunch of questions, you have to fill out a paper and then turn it in. I find that not to be as fun, but that may be your thing. And then I think the old post office does that too, or
Yeah, Paradise Creek Brewery.
Paradise Creek doesn't
one.
do it anymore either, or I guess doesn't. Oh, okay. And I think over in Idaho they have a couple as well. Rico's is pretty awesome though; it's almost always full, and they give away prizes like if your team wins the category, you get like $10 gift certificate for free drinks for Rico's that you can use on that night. So it's pretty fun. And there are almost no undergrads. Oh, it's 7 o'clock, by the way. It's usually 7 to 9 on Tuesdays at Rico's.
7 o'clock at Etsy on Wednesdays. And I think it's like Thursdays at Tapped, which is a brew house restaurant over in Moscow.
What's the best way for individuals here with children to get connected and get our kids doing stuff together?
Probably, honestly, taking advantage of that evening childcare to begin with. There's a lot of parents that use that program. We also have quite a few parents in GPSA. So if you wanted to come to a Senate meeting or something, we could introduce you to some of those folks. Like Tanya is a parent. So she could probably hook you up on that one. I don't know if you have any other ideas, Tanya.
If you log on to go onto the Pullman Chamber of Commerce website, they have tons of events for families, kids, places you can go, places you can see, places you can visit, and everything is family oriented. So Pullman Chamber of Commerce, that's like the greatest place to go.
Is the fitness center free for grad students?
Yes. You pay fees every semester. So it isn't free, right? Like you pay a fee, but
However, in the summer, you don't pay the fee because you're not taking classes or paying for tuition. If you want to go to the rec in the summer, it's something like you pay a fee of $90 or something like that.
I have a question about books. What's the best way to get books cheaply? I heard there was some type of website for here that you can.
I honestly, since I was an undergrad, I just use Amazon. I think a good way is to talk. So most of the classes you're going to be taking as a grad student, your professor knows your grad students, and so they might not be trying to shell out their own textbook, so you may be able to get away with an old edition. So ask them about that, if old editions will be good, but I don't know, used books on Amazon.
if you can go ahead.
You could also go ahead and check the library because most of the times you can find the book in the library and they'll loan it out to you for the entire semester, sometimes for the entire year. So you can go ahead, check the library. That's where I get mine sometimes.
I'm also a library person, and then there's interlibrary loan too. So even if we don't have it on campus, they can get it from somewhere else. So it's a good free way to look at your books and check them out for the semester.
I was just informed there's another website called Book Buy It, so you can check that out.
Other questions?
We have 45 minutes of this, guys. Ask away.
You got another half hour.
Where are the Pokemon Go questions?
Downtown by Thomas Hammer is the best place for Pokemon.
There's also 2 Pokestops in the Cub. 3. There are 3, excuse me.
So I was wondering, where are the best happy hours?
Banyans on the Ridge has a pretty good happy hour. It's kind of far away. It's the golf club up at the top. It's the University Golf Club, but they actually have a pretty good happy hour. Really, really chill if that's your kind of thing.
Yeah, they do. The Banyans does half off all their appetizers from 4 to 6 p.m. And then there's themed nights. So there's Taco Tuesday. So the zoo, ZZU, it's not actually an animal zoo like I originally thought when I first got here.
I was so disappointed.
Does tacos for 75 cents a taco. And there's also Wing Wednesday to do super cheap basket of wings.
So
but
my-
you will see your students if you go there.
I'm sure we all have our own favorites. Mine actually is at Birch and Barley. You can become a part of the beer brigade for like $25 or $35 a year. And every time you buy beer there, you get $1 off and you get like 8 more ounces of beer. And then during happy hour, you get an extra $1 off. That's my favorite.
My favorite is Sangria in Moscow. It's like a hybrid Peruvian cuisine place, but it's really, really nice. And they do half off appetizers and buy one, get one free sangrias on Tuesdays from 4 to 6. Definitely recommend that.
So I'll add, so if you're on campus and you want happy hour and you just want to be able to walk there instead of get in your car, Valhalla is usually pretty good, and the Coug is kind of like the quintessential college bar, so you'll probably run into undergrad. It's also over kind of in the Greek area, but for happy hour, it's usually not too bad, like that time, like lunchtime. They have burgers, and the wings at Valhalla are pretty good.
Okay, 2 more. There's at Casa Lopez in Moscow. They do 2-for-1 margaritas and $9 fajita plates on Wednesday evenings. And then Black Cypress, which is also a fairly fancy restaurant downtown, does half off appetizers on Mondays from 4 to 6 p.m., which is a killer deal.
Next question.
Right there, Melanie.
What's the easiest way to get to Moscow if you don't have a car?
Make friends with someone who has a car.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, there is a taxi cab service that can bring you over there, but currently there's no shuttle that buses students over there. That was discontinued a few years ago.
Though they are working on getting it back for a couple years now, but it's not happening right now. So
If you bike over there, it's about an hour.
make friends with someone with a car.
At my rate, it is.
If you really want to go, like one of us will take you.
Yeah, so who on the, I have a car, and I'm always willing to take folks to Moscow. Who else has a car?
I'll go for happy hour on Tuesdays. Who wants to go?
Everybody just call you. We're here.
We got up here.
By the way, if anybody wants to know about our football team, I'm very passionate about it. So feel
Shane
free
went to
ask.
undergrad here. He still has some undergrad in him.
So
Hasn't been beaten out yet.
On the subject of cars, we've been here all day, and today is the day that parking permits went on sale. And I don't know if anybody else has been trying to get it through the website, but it's impossible. So my question
It's
is,
down today.
will it be possible to get one? How hard is it? What's the competition like for a parking pass?
So the transportation services building is just over there, and what I would do if you get done before 5, just pop on over there and to get on a wait list as soon as possible. Graduate students do have priority over undergraduate students, so you will be able to jump them in the waiting line, but you may have to wait depending on what lot you want. Some of the prime lots are a little bit more competitive, so it just kind of depends. Blue you should be okay.
Also, the bus, aside from parking, the bus system is really good around here. So just look at where you live and look at the bus schedules, and it should have a route that comes within 30 minutes.
And we have some pamphlets still over here that have the bus route on them, or you can look them up online. And all you have to do to get on the bus is show your Cougar card, because you pay a small fee that makes them all free for you.
Can I also mention about parking? So just to warn you guys, every game day you can't park in most parking lots until after kickoff. They will be very strict and not let you through unless you want to pay like over $30 to park there for that Saturday. So with that, the buses increase in frequency, and so if you have to come to campus for some reason, you can take a bus. You can also park and ride, which you can park somewhere like down at Dismore's or somewhere off campus and catch a bus from there, or you can bike or walk. You can park under extreme circumstances, but you usually have to go through the parking services, and it's very hard. And then after kickoff, they just let everybody come, so. But our first game is at 5 o'clock, so it's like all day, starting at like 6 a.m. You can't park on campus.
Well, and just to add to that really quickly, they shut down a lot of Stadium Way as well. Like, they literally block it off. So it turns into a pedestrian sort of area, so you can't even drive if you wanted to most of the way.
Yeah, question back there.
So where I come from, the coldest it gets is 65 degrees. So what do I do to get ready for the cold times?
Do you have a jacket?
Yeah, so I was here my first winter 3 years ago, and I just came from Turkey, where it's also like the coldest is 65 degrees, and it was probably wind chill, so what it feels like outside. It was like -15. We had like a good foot of snow on the ground, and so then the next year when all the new graduate students came in, I was like, okay, you need snow tires, you need a thick winter jacket, you need those things for your shoes, so that way you have
Yak
good
tracks.
snow tracks. I don't know, but
Yak tracks.
get those for your shoes. And then it didn't snow like at all 2 winters ago. So like everyone thought I was crazy. So generally be prepared. I would buy those things for your shoes. I don't know. That's
A
my
nice
advice.
warm coat and some yak tracks will get you most places.
We did sit here and like had some undergrads laughing at a table talking about how they couldn't wait until all the new people fell on the hills during the wintertime. Don't let that be you, all right?
It
Get those
gets
shoe
really
things.
icy here. Like if you've never experienced ice before, you will here.
Yeah, so the general advice would be make sure you get yourself some nice wool socks. Having some like long underwear is not too bad. Like think about like if you're gonna go camping or something, it's kind of like that. I mean, get yourself some nice sweaters. Get yourself nice beanie. Gloves are pretty good. But
Thanks,
generally,
Dad.
you don't need. You don't need like snow boots if you can't afford like snow tires. You don't need them. You can walk around. But I would just advise make sure you're ready for the cold. I've been here for a while, and there's always like a week in December where it's like -10 degrees. So it kind of sucks. And once you get through that, it's okay. But just be prepared for that.
One other thing, this is sort of a life hack, if you will. If you are driving and you need an ice scraper for your windshield, your Cougar card doubles as one. So you don't need to buy a scraper.
Another thing about the winter is if it snows, don't expect school to shut down. I think the first time I saw it shut down was back in like 2008 when I was an undergrad, and before that it was like 30 years. And so it's not likely that if it snows a lot, it'll shut down. The buses will go through anything. Like last year during finals, the only reason they stopped for an hour was because stupid cars got stuck on the road.
Yeah, that one time it shut down is because it snowed 2 feet in like 2 hours. So that's why they were forced to.
All
So,
right.
Building on this topic, transport and winter, I've heard that Moscow Pullman Airport is pretty lousy in the winter. It shuts down.
Yes.
Like going home for Christmas, what would you guys recommend?
Lewiston or Spokane? Lewiston is also a small regional airport. It's about 45 minutes away from us, and it has free parking if you do have a car or if you can carpool with someone. It has direct flights to Salt Lake City and Seattle several times a day. And then Spokane is a small international airport, so you can get a flight just about anywhere. The caution with Spokane, though, is that it is an hour and a half away, and the parking, if you're gone for a long time, can get a little pricey. So.
And the same comes for coming back in the winter. Like last Thanksgiving, I got stuck in Seattle for a couple days because one flight was canceled, then it backed them all up, and then it wasn't until like 4 days later that there was another flight to Pullman. Also, they are expanding the airport, so maybe by the end of your graduate careers, you'll see better airport services.
There's actually supposed to be, so for those of you that don't know, we have a really tiny airport out here, and right now they can only fly prop planes in and out, but they're expanding the runway to bring in actual jets, which means that service is going to improve dramatically in like a year and a half. Like by next fall, they're really hoping to start bringing jets in. So it'll probably get a lot better in the time that you all are here. One other thing, just winter things. If you want to drive to Seattle in the wintertime, you'll go over Snoqualmie Pass, and you are required to carry chains with you. So just FYI, check the road conditions. That pass can get really, really bad.
Just to kind of go off of that, like I've driven over that pass now, having done my undergrad career, like probably 150 times, and I've only had to put snow chains on one time, and it was like sort of a freak thing. So it does get plowed a lot, but don't be too freaked out, but just be prepared.
Yeah, up here in the front.
We'll repeat your question. Oh, okay. No, it's right there.
So I kind of have a couple, but one of them is, would you recommend studded snow tires then? Because I know that you guys
Yes.
don't put down metachloride, it's just sand.
Yeah. It's not even sand, it's crushed basalt. So it's like ball bearings. Like it does help if it gets really icy, but otherwise it's not very helpful. So yeah, I think that studded snow tires are a good investment, particularly if you live on top of any of the hills,
Which you
because
probably
you're
will.
not gonna get up there otherwise.
Yeah, just for people who are not from this part of the country, I'm originally from Kentucky, and we salt anytime there's snow or ice on the ground, so then, the roads are pretty clear. Here, they do not do that. They'll put rocks down, and it'll snow, and they'll put more rocks down, and then it'll snow. And
Because
so
it's an
that's
agricultural
why
area.
snow tires are important if you're driving your vehicle.
So I will be the contrarian. It depends on the quality of your tire.
He's from here.
Yeah, no, it depends on the quality of your tire. Like if you want to invest in like, $150 per tire, like nice Michelin ones, you don't need studded tires. I don't have studs on my tires. Never had a problem.
And my kind of other question that goes along with it is, do you know of any way to get from like the residences that are up on like Southeast Forest Way, like walking to campus? Because I know there's almost no sidewalks going
on
around.
Pioneer Hill.
Like Yakima and all those other ones. up there,
Yakima.
like- yeah. So is there a way? Because I've noticed that there's no sidewalks leading down Southeast Forest Way and around the kind of Main Street. Are there any up
Yeah.
back heading this way?
If I understand what you're saying, yes, there are.
Okay.
So kind of by like the kids' playground.
Yeah.
If you go past there, then you start getting into the dorm
And
area.
are there buses that kind of do that at all, or
There's,
no?
I think one bus that comes down front. I think it's pretty. I don't think it's very frequently though.
Like every 40 minutes.
Yeah. So probably your best bet is just to walk to Stadium Way and then.
So on days when it's too snowy to drive, like you can actually.
One thing to learn is how to get from building to building, or how to get from your apartment or whatever to the building that you're trying to get to through other buildings. So that would be one piece of advice I would give as well.
Yeah, the whole campus is on a hill, so it also helps with the flatness if you can go through buildings.
Yes.
Is there a lot of bike parking on campus, and is that like regulated? You have to be in a bike rack to park?
I don't think we have very specific rules about where you have to park as a bike. There is a lot of bike parking on campus, but I'm not aware of any other really specific rules about it. So a lot of people don't bike because it's so
I
hilly.
do, but I haven't come across anything. I usually always have bike parking in, at least in the buildings right down there, and if not, I'll just put it up against something random thing, and nobody's gotten me in trouble before, so I think you're good. Lock it up. There's people that are mean and steal.
Yeah, I got my wallet picked this summer, so watch out. Keep yourself. Yeah.
Oh, while we're talking about stealing things. So, weird segue. During the breaks, there tends to be quite a bit of burglary, like breaking into apartments, just because it's a college town. It's a pretty easy bet that if you live over in apartment land over there, that most of those are going to be empty. So there's usually like a small spate of break-ins over like Thanksgiving break and Christmas break. So just, if you have stuff that you really don't want stolen, usually they go for like TVs or whatever, but if you've got like, I don't know, heirloom jewelry or your laptop with all of your research data on it, don't leave that at home over the break. You probably won't anyways, but just FYI. They probably won't leave over the breaks. They might.
Okay, so this was asked last year. So if you had one piece of advice or words of wisdom that you could say to yourself when you started your graduate student career, what would that be?
You want to start down there?
I'll start, yeah. Mine would be something like find your people. And what I mean by that is don't isolate yourself in your lab or your office or whatever. Find a couple of good friends who can really support you through the process, because grad school is really hard, you guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Like it gets really hard sometimes. And so having those people to kind of buoy you up who are like, you know, going through this crap with you, you can really hold each other up, and you can really make good friends that last a lifetime. So like find your people. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to be like social butterfly going out all the time, but find like a couple of people that you can get dinner with. You know, you can talk about how crappy your advisor is this week or whatever, that kind of a thing with.
Mine would probably be talk to the, you know, 5th years or 6th years or 4th years or whatever in your department and figure out what they've done and what worked for them. Because what I find, I'm in political science, and one girl who graduated right after my first year was just full of all of these beautiful pieces of information that would have helped me so much, and I was so late in talking to her, and then she graduated and got a job, and now she's off doing her thing. So definitely find someone that, you know, is interested in the same research topics as you, and talk to them and find out which conferences they're attending, what are those conference deadlines, all of those things, so that way you are one step ahead and you're not finding out information later than what you wish you had.
I know you're not gonna have a lot of time, and that's okay, but get involved in anything. Doesn't really matter what, whatever you wanna do. Social, you wanna take up knitting, whatever. Do something just to get your head off of this thing. Because
GPSA.
it can get very, very, you know, yeah, overwhelming. So just find an alternative activities, get involved in university things, get involved in community service. Some of those things really, really, really help.
I agree with all of those, and I think there's an important social aspect that you need to be cognizant of. But I'll speak from the academic side, and that is you're probably going to have like 500 random thoughts on research you want to do at some point. And you never, one piece of advice I got coming in here, which was really helpful, was you never know when you're going to need an idea down the road, and you might not remember it if you don't write it down. So write everything down. Even if it's stupid now, it could turn out to be something good later.
Mine's also more on the academic side. With all of us, master's, PhD, we'll probably be writing a thesis, dissertation, etc. So I would learn right now, if you don't know already, reference software. There's free and paid. And so when you're doing your literature reviews or you're reading anything, you can keep all of that in a database with notes. And then when you go to build your references in the end, it's just a click away rather than building it by yourself in hand.
I recommend Mendeley, by the way. It's free, and it's probably the best reference manager. So to kind of continue, I mean, you probably noticed the theme. Grad school is really hard. And you know, when you leave for the day, like, leave your work, like, in the office. You know, I think, like, you'll probably be really gung-ho at first to try and, like, prove yourself or whatever. Just take my word for it. You don't need to get super into it right away. There's plenty of time for that. You know, you need to make time for yourself and time for your friends. I think the school did a survey a little while ago that said, like, 51% of the graduate students within the WSU network at one point suffered from anxiety and depression. So that is a shocking number. If that's you, that's okay. You're not alone. It's you look left and right, and you look left, right, and then right again, and two of you, you know, are experiencing the same thing. So, you know, you need to sometimes step away from the work, and especially if you live in an office that has no windows. Not live, you work. Living would be terrible.
When's the first Cougar game?
Oh yeah, it's September 4th. It's against Eastern Washington
It's
University.
the 3rd.
3rd. Oh man, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. September 3rd. Yeah, 5 o'clock. There's always the nice thing too is you know, there's always stuff going on up on campus. There's people walking around. The football team. So I recommend going down to the field house like 3 hours before game starts. You know, they have beer and they have a lot of alumni come through there. The football team. They used to walk through there. I think they still do actually, like right away. It's just it's a great atmosphere. I recommend at least checking it out once.
And GPSA does discounted tickets to the football games. So I think it went out in our Monday Minute that most of you probably got yesterday afternoon. But the code is like GPSA, and I think the tickets are $10, which is a lot cheaper than any of the ones you can just outright buy.
Right now, the tickets are like $40.
And the
So
Oregon
that
game sold
discount's
out,
nice.
so watch out.
Yeah.
Okay. However, you can get around that if you want to pay like the $150 for a student pass. It gets you into all sporting events. So if you're really passionate about it and you're like, oh, I can't wait for baseball season, like if you get your pass now, you can see football, volleyball, soccer, basketball, and then, be ready to go for baseball season.
So the discount, does that include season tickets?
No. It's just individual games.
And you have to buy the tickets a full week in advance of the football game to get the discount. 2? I think it's 1 week. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Shane to come up and help me. So given that, so we're a little quiet right now, and I want to get the energy moved up in the room. So I don't know if you know, but at all Cougar football games and all sporting events, there's this little chant that WSU Cougs do. And so I'm going to get Shane to come help me lead this. It's really simple. It's just 2 words. We're gonna split the audience down the center. Okay, so to my right and on your left, y'all are gonna say go. And then this side, y'all are going to say Cougs, okay? And we're probably going to do this like 5 or 6 times, okay? So Shane's going to use his arms to point which section goes in 3, 2, 1.
The Coug side.
All right, thank you. Y'all are ready to go to your first sporting event.
I don't know.
All right, we've got about 6 minutes left. Do we have any last-minute burning questions now that you're all a little more awake from yelling? Nope. All right, go snooze. You're going to go talk about how you get your domestic residency and international residency and stuff soon. So, bye-bye.